Good evening. We're back with more of our breaking news from Ferguson. Protests erupting out there again this evening. Jeff Bernthal is on the scene. Let's go out there and talk to him live on the scene about what's going on. Jeff, what can you tell us?
A couple of things, Tom. We'll show you what's happening right now, and then we'll also show you what sort of precipitated this latest incident that prompted a number of arrests. You can see police lined up, Ferguson, St. Louis County. We have State Highway Patrol that has been here also lined up on one side outside the police department. A number of demonstrators are across the street. Let's go ahead and show you what happened a few minutes ago out here. The police chief, Tom Jackson, decided that he was going to come out and talk to the demonstrators, and in fact, he marched with them for a short period of time, and then something happened that we're not exactly sure yet exactly what triggered this, but a number of officers swarmed in as it appeared the crowd sort of circled in around the chief, and then a number of arrests were made. It appears at least more than a couple people handcuffed on the scene. After all this happened, then the street was sort of cleared. Police had formed a wall right in front of the police department and had been sort of standing by. The number of demonstrators out here, not in large numbers tonight, maybe somewhere between 50 and 100, but they have been vocal. They've been calling for this police chief to resign. They were upset over that released video apology that was released earlier today. Many of them feel it was staged. Some of them feel that it was far too late after the shooting death of Michael Brown. So we'll continue to keep an eye on things here and bring you any updates, Tom.
Yeah, and you say they thought that that apology that he mentioned to the Brown family and to the protesters was maybe not sincere then.
Yeah, that's what, that's the feeling from a lot of the people out here, and that it came today. It's like, why did it come today when this shooting happened so many days ago? The chief has followed up with statements indicating that this is something that was on his heart for a long time, and that he just wanted to do it, and so he did it. But it's not sitting well with the people here, who again feel that it was just too little, too late.
And this has the crowd grown at all since this all started, or was it about the same crowd that was there when we came to you earlier, and a pretty peaceful crowd it looked like at that time?
It's pretty much the same size, and it was, Tom, and you can see now, all the demonstrators who were out in the street have kind of gone back to the other side of South Florissant. It appeared that it was sort of thin out a bit, but then when the police chief came out to talk, everyone who was in the area who had been demonstrating sort of ran over there to hear what he had to say, and again he decided to go ahead and march with them as they asked him to go march with him, and he went ahead and marched down South Florissant for, it wasn't more than a minute, if that, and again, something happened that the police here felt necessitated them moving in, and a number of people put into handcuffs.
Yeah, we showed some video that we had taken earlier just a few moments ago, and it looked like it got pretty chaotic there for a while. And now behind you, it looks like they've kind of gone back to, just like you said, kind of a standoff across the street. But are they still chanting and seem to be agitated, or has it turned peaceful again?
People are still chanting. They're still upset. Keep in mind, people have been protesting out here since day one of this shooting across the street from the Ferguson Police Department. So this is an area where they've had a tent set up, and there have been demonstrations taking place night after night after night. Tonight, I think the big difference was that the videotape release and the chief then coming out to address this crowd. That seemed to be what put all the wheels into motion. Right now, again, Tom, things do seem to have settled down a bit. You have the wall of police officers out in front of the Ferguson Police Department along South Florissant. A couple of demonstrators continue to walk in and out of the street from time to time, but for the most part, many of them staying on the other side. There's a group of, looks like 5 young men just walking down the street right now. And but at this point, two crowds of the police and the demonstrators have seemed to separate a bit, one on one side and the other on the other side of the street. Almost as many police officers here as demonstrators at this point, Tom. That's the situation.
Okay, Jeff. Yeah, it seems like this week is kind of the turmoil has kind of come to the surface again, because earlier in the week, well, we've had a council meeting and some people expressing their views there. We had the fire at the Michael Brown, one of the memorials for Michael Brown, which seemed to upset some people because there were suspicions. Actually, they didn't know who said it, but they suspected that maybe it was someone that didn't feel the same way they did about Michael Brown and what they were trying to get. And then we've had the Justice Department here this week, and then the Brown families in Washington meeting with the Department of Justice, and then we had the apology today. So, and the protesters out, and earlier this week we had some arrests. So it seems like this has been a little more chaotic this week.
Yeah, Tom, a lot has happened. You're right about that, and I think the tone is a bit different, and it almost feels as if the days go on, the frustration grows for a lot of people here. And at this point, the group that remains, a group that wants nothing short of police officer Darren Wilson indicted, arrested, and charged with some sort of crime. And until that happens, I don't think the folks who are out here tonight are going to be changing anything that they're doing right now.
Okay, Jeff Bernthal on the scene out in Ferguson, where we've had a couple of arrests, it looks like, and things kind of got exciting there for a moment and then kind of calmed down. And as Jeff said, now they're kind of just a standoff. The police officers are out there, a pretty good presence, and around 100 or less protesters, and they've kind of settled down at this point. So we'll keep in touch with Jeff, and we'll keep you up to date on what's going on out there. Right now, we'll go back to regular programming.